You're taking the lead on that.
I thank the gentleman from Tennessee, and let me just make a couple of points here, because I think these are very, very well-made points about the importance of having an opportunity to actually debate and try to improve a bill on the floor. And one of the things that disturbs me is that I see a pattern here, and it's playing out today, but this isn't the first time. This is all of a piece of not having a budget resolution for 3 consecutive years. The majority party doesn't want to have to come down and actually cast votes. Because if there's a budget resolution on the floor, there surely will be amendments. Because our states, and we all come from different places and have different ideas, and we want to have our constituents have a chance to have their say. And the majority party apparently doesn't want to have to cast votes. And I think that's part of why there hasn't been a single appropriation bill on this floor, which is just a shocking abdication of our responsibility. But here we are in mid-December, and while the committee has reported out, I think, if not every appropriation bill, the vast majority of them, not a single one has been brought down here. And then on bill after bill, we see this happen. Now, I hear the criticism that, well, we Republicans won't allow the body to get onto the bill. The motion to proceed passed. The cloture motion passed. We're on the bill. And despite that, there's no opportunity to have a meaningful, substantive debate about ways this could be improved and changed. It's just not possible because the distinguished majority leader refuses to permit it. This is the dysfunction of this body, in my view. And it is a pattern, and it's a problem. I, too, had a couple of amendments that I would like to have had an opportunity to discuss. I would just make one other point. On the few occasions when the majority leader has actually permitted an open amendment process, the Farm Bill comes to mind, the Postal Reform Bill, Defense Authorization, we started with a huge long list of amendments, and then people said, well, okay, that's too many. I'll give up some of mine. We got to a manageable amount. We dealt with them. We had final passage, and actually all 3 of those bills passed. So the process works when it's allowed to take place. But this is not a very good function. The last point I would make is just to urge my colleagues to remember, when we're running trillion-dollar deficits as it is, the last thing we ought to be doing is increasing the size of those deficits with a taxpayer bailout of banks, and that's what this ends up amounting to. So I urge my colleagues to sustain this point of order, and I yield back to the gentleman.